Hello, hello. How is everybody doing? My name is Taylor, also known as the Mustard Queen. I am taking over MelissaMurd's slot tonight on The Spice is Right. So this is the show, Cutting the Mustard. Today we are making a pretzel crusted chicken. We are also going to be making a tomato garlic rice. And if we have time later, we are going to be doing a white chocolate bark. So we got to get started with our tomato garlic rice. Y'all come on in. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am taking over MelissaMurd's time slot for this show, so I'm using some of her recipes, including this one, which is her tomato garlic rice. She's made it a couple of times on her show, and it's a very simple rice cooker recipe, and every time I see her make it, it's like, man, I've got to make that because it's so simple, yet the ingredients are just so right, and it's just such an easy rice cooker recipe. So what she calls for, she does hers with Basmati. I'm doing mine with regular long grain white rice here. And I've already rinsed mine. When you are doing rice cooker recipes, you do want to make sure that you rinse your rice very well with the rice cooker because it is a slower way that the rice cooks. You're going to be getting a lot more starch out of it as it cooks than you do on the tabletop. So you're going to experience more of that little gumminess, like when you have, like when you don't rinse the rice. A lot of times I don't rinse my rice and I'm absolutely okay. In a rice cooker, it's one of those things that you want to use the rice cooker for. So for our liquid, you can use water if you want. There's not a whole ton of ingredients in here. So if you want the flavor of chicken as well, you can use chicken broth. I'm going to be doing this little better than bouillon tip here. Love the better than bouillon. But you can just use water or whatever like flavoring for the water that you want to do. A whisk is going to be better to combine all these. Thank y'all so much for joining. I'm going to turn on the music now to get us jamming. There we go. Y'all let me know if that's too loud for the music. So I'm going to get a whisk to whisk, whisk, whisk. So let's get my stuff. Love this. This is one of those whisks that's meant for your coffee, to froth the coffee, but I love it for sauces and things like that too. Hello, Trini's in here. One of our Food Talk TV creators, Diner and Dreamer. Hello, welcome in. Y'all, welcome to Food Talk TV. I am taking over from MelissaMurd today. So today's recipes are inspired by MelissaMurd. And so I'm making her tomato garlic rice that she does in the rice cooker. And so with this, I'm going to kind of show y'all what I'm doing with my hands here, because this is another tip I like to do, because I did measure it, but when I do my rice, I either do the trick where I stick my finger up at the top of whatever, or stick my finger at the bottom and then fill the, or I'm sorry, my finger at the top of the rice and then fill it up to that top knuckle. Or what Mayumi does, she also like lays her hand down flat, and whenever it starts to lift right over here. And whenever I do those measuring like rice hacks, they always work out for me. Sometimes I will measure things absolutely exact, but it's the hack that does it. There we go. Love it. Okay, I just wanted y'all to see what I was doing with the top of my rice there for that. Y'all, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. Hey, Jessica, how's it going? So this is her tomato garlic rice. Where's my garlic? So we're going to grate some garlic in here. After we get this rice started on the rice cooker, then we're going to switch over to our pretzel crusted chicken. This is another MelissaMurd recipe that I will be doing, and it's with a honey mustard sauce. Get out of the, okay. Sometimes you just got to be aggressive to get your garlic. Hello, hello, welcome in. Thank y'all for sharing out the live and tapping the screen. It helps Al Gore in his rhythm. You know, it tells everyone we're doing a good job. And I'm hoping we can get to this bark later, because I was thinking about some sort of dessert that involved pretzels, but pretty much every pretzel dessert I was looking into required some sort of setup time, which isn't ideal for a 1-hour cooking show. So I thought bark would be fun. So Y'all welcome it. And you know what? With those desserts that require the setup time, like I am absolutely obsessed with the strawberry jello pretzel salad. And that was always something that we had around the holidays growing up. I need to have grippier garlic, y'all. That one's a goner. It's okay. But anyway, I love that strawberry pretzel jello salad. If y'all know what I'm talking about, if you know, you know. But when it comes to holidays, you can't really afford that extra fridge space to let something set. Like desserts need to be pies or something that does not need much fridge space. We got too many sides going. There we go. Keeping that stable just to... You can mince the garlic if you want. You can use garlic if you want to. I'm not a garlic person. I don't use garlic. And, you know, if you're kind of one of those people that uses both, I don't know if I'd recommend garlic for this recipe, just because garlic is kind of one of the few ingredients in here. So you want the garlic to be the main guy. And so then what she does with it is she just slices the Roma tomato in half. She just puts it over the top of the rice. So it's just going to cook like this in the rice cooker. And then when we're done, we're going to peel the skin off and then mush it up and have a nice tomato garlicky rice. So one recipe down. This recipe is up on FoodTokTV.com right now, and it's Melissa and Mark's recipe. So you be sure to check that out. I'm actually going to throw in a pinch of salt in there before I finish up. So for our next one, we are doing a pretzel crusted chicken. So we're going to start with some chicken breast. We're going to prepare our chicken breast over here. And we have our chicken breast right here. Now, because we are going to be using a pretzel crust on it, we want to cut it thin, because if we were going to leave it thick, it would take way too long to cook, and then the pretzel crust is going to burn. And then plus we're turning these 2 chicken breasts into many, many meals. So we are going to butterfly it. It sounds a lot scarier than what it actually is. So I'm going to wash this hand, because I was actually, whenever I'm doing raw meats and on the phone, I like to have one hand clean, one hand dirty. So this one's going to be my raw one, so that way I can use my knife for my clean. I'm going to wash this real quick. Y'all, thank you for tapping the screens and sharing me out. And if the music is okay, please let me know. If I need to turn it down, I can do that as well. I see y'all tapping those screens, and I appreciate you. So, not touching it with my clean hand. We're keeping a clean hand here. Music is great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that feedback. Thank y'all so much. Okay, so what I am doing here with the chicken, we are gonna just be pressing it down and then kind of cutting it inside this way. And whenever I cut it, I always kind of have to be on eye level, so that way I can make sure that my knife is kind of parallel to my cutting board. And, you know, so that way it's a lot less scary when I have my hand pressed on the top of it, so I don't think I'm, you know, putting my knife upward with that. So if that helps you out, most people I know don't crouch down like this when they do it. They just go. If it makes it easier for you, just do it. Just do it. All right. Keeping it parallel to the cutting board. Oh yeah, and this is how we turn one piece of chicken into 2. And you know, you can buy these already thinly sliced. My main beef with it, or my main chicken with it, I went to go get the chicken for this, and now these big chicken breasts, it was $2.79 a pound. But the thinly sliced ones like this, $6 a pound. So just doing this, turning this chicken breast into this half piece, more than doubled the price. Absolutely ridiculous. So I'm also wondering too if there's some other way to, I don't know. Anywho, there's a little seam on here that makes it naturally. There we go. You just kind of start cutting. They call this technique the feathering technique, to kind of saw in half. But I'm just making sure that my knife is parallel to my cutting board. They have been butterflied. I don't necessarily need to pound this meat, but at this point, you know, pound the meat if you're making schnitzel of some sort. I am doing the pretzel crust for these. So, washing my hands again, because we just dealt with the raw chicken. Thank y'all so much for being here today. Pretzel crusted chicken. This recipe is up on FoodTokTV.com. This is a recipe by Melissa and Mark, who are typically on FoodTokTV Mondays at 6 p.m. Central, but they are off tonight, so I am taking over their show. So welcome to Cutting the Mustard with me. Whew, gotta get it dry. Alrighty. So we have our chicken here, and then we are going to want to get our dredging station ready. So with our dredging station, I love what MelissaMurd has, where she has like she has 3 different pans that are like little small like dredging pans, but what I use are these cake pans. And they're super cheap cake pans. I don't typically make cake in them, ever. I typically just use them for my dredges, but it's perfect for storing in my opinion. But I think I like what Melissa uses with the dredging pan. So with one of these guys, we're gonna get some flour. Oh yeah, which if you were tuning in to my show on Saturday, the flour when we're dredging and frying, this is known as the desiccant, meaning the thing that is drying. It's going to be the substance that's drying the chicken before we add it to the egg, which is going to be the glue, and then the pretzels, which is the flavor. The flavor, the crunch, and all that jazz. Let's also crack some eggs for our next one. Thank you so much for the follow. We appreciate you. If you're following Food Talk TV, you get to watch us do live cooking shows on the daily. I am popping in for Melissa and Mark. You can typically find me on Food Talk TV Saturdays at 4 p.m. Central on our show, The Tailgate. I'm organizing my kitchen, which means things are in different places. There we go. My whisk, which this is another fun whisk that I got, which is this gravy whisk. Huge fan of this one. Y'all, I have some of the most fun whisks. So if you ever see a weirdly shaped whisk, send it my way, because I probably either need it or have it. So in with my eggs that I do for my dredging, I always add some mustard to it too. You can also add hot sauce or whatever condiment you want, but mustard is a really great emulsifier, which is good for this, but then also it's a great flavor. So just some stone ground. And I love the stone ground because there's little specks of it in there which look like flavor. I'm gonna beat this egg up a little bit before introducing it to the mustard. So this will be part of our dredge for the pretzel crusted chicken. And I am the mustard queen. Yes, absolutely. So, and you know, even though I am the mustard queen, and you can often find, you will see that I add mustard to a lot of my recipes that a lot of people don't typically think to add mustard to. But I would like to think that I don't add mustard to things just because. Right, I like to think that the reason I add mustard to things actually add substance to it. Like, I can even justify adding mustard to brownies. Like, that's one of my popular, like, here's mustard as food recipes, is brownies. So, oh yeah. And I do this for just about everything I dredge. I do this for just about everything I dredge, just add some mustard in with my eggs. So got my flour, got this. And so before I finish up my dredge, I'm gonna need my crushed up pretzels and I'm gonna need a seasoning blend. So let's do the seasoning blend real quick. I'll do this sometimes, like whenever I'm cooking a bunch of stuff that kind of is getting flavored the same way, kind of, you know, because the chicken and the other things are gonna get I'm kind of making an all-purpose seasoning just for me to use. That's what I'm doing. So that way, rather than continuously opening up the garlic, continuously opening up the cayenne, I can just do it once and have a little container. Some cayenne, which is always listed as optional in the recipe, but let's be real, the entire recipe is optional. So some garlic powder. This is some roasted garlic powder. And I am way more of a fan of the roasted garlic powder than I am the regular. Holy crap, there is some flavor to it. And some paprika. Smoked is my favorite. If you get a really nice variety, you can actually get some flavor. Some of the cheaper ones, though, it's kind of like, here's some red specks, so here's the flavor. So it looks like there's flavor. And you know what? I missed a seasoning. Gotta have my mustard. Mustard! Yes, this is over 4 pounds of mustard powder from Coleman's. Yes. And Coleman's powder is not cheap. They sent this to me. But I love Coleman's mustard powder. And I love it in a seasoning rub. It acts as a tenderizer to meat. But it also adds the bitterness that people don't often consider when they're balancing spices, balancing foods. They don't think about the bitter component. I mean, how often are you eating food and you're like, oh, this needs more balance, let's add more bitter. That's not typically a thought, but I make it a thought with adding the mustard. Yellow hearts, yeah. Which pretty much everything I sign off, or all of my emotes, like whenever I'm texting people and stuff, I completely bypass the red heart. I'm always like yellow heart reacting things. So I'm often upset when they don't allow me to change my heart to a yellow. So I got some pepper, some cayenne, garlic powder, paprika, cayenne. All right, that works. Very yummy. And then let's get our pretzel on. So the recipe for the for the pretzel crusted chicken, the pretzel crusted chicken recipe is already up on FoodTokTV, and so is the tomato garlic rice. And this is a recipe that Melissa and Mark made on their show, The Spice is Right. They made it 2 weeks ago today. So they're live from November 10th. That's up on YouTube. Is their live from when they made it. But yes, this recipe is up. And so, got these pretzels. They were on sale. 2 for $4. Heck yeah. Let's get our pretzel on. There we go. We'll see if that works. Great time to get out some aggression. Also great time for free chef snacks. Hello. Of course, as soon as I stick dry pretzels in my mouth, as soon as I do that, that's when someone asks me what I'm making. I am doing Melissa and Mark's pretzel crusted chicken. I'm also making their tomato garlic rice. And now I'm crushing up my pretzels to make into pretzel crumbs for our pretzel crusted chicken. Sometimes when it gets trapped, I'm just going to open up a little spot for air so that way air is not trapped. Not big enough for like me to make a mess, but big enough for like the air to, you know, not be trapped. It's okay, it's okay. You know, it's kind of like anti-jinxing myself. I get questions just because I made myself enabled to get questions. There you go, yeah. I got engagement because I wasn't ready for it. There you go. So crushing up these bananas, yeah. This reminds me of when I was in physical therapy for an ankle injury and they would have us pick up the marbles with our toes. And I'm thinking of that because I'm feeling all the muscles all up in my arms, and this is quite nice. Quite a nice workout here. I think when she did hers, though, on her live, she got a mallet. There we go. That's the action. hope this wasn't too horrible. Are you guys okay? Hey, Robert, what's up? You know what? Ryan's actually not even home from work yet. Ah, there we go. I'm sure this could also be a food processor thing, too. But I am getting... Oh, yeah. I have the rolling pin out and I'm rolling this out. I have been seeing this viral recipe called donar, where they basically get a meat mince of some sort, like ground meat, and roll it out super thin in between parchment paper and then roll it up. And I've been seeing that a lot, and I almost gave that a try today. Thinking that with the rolling pin, I was like, man, why did I not go that route? There we go. Crushing up these were pretzels. Now it's pretzel powder, and this is going to make an amazing crust for our chicken. Oh, yes. And you know what? I feel like these pretzels, if you were to just like hand this bag to some children, they would have this done for you in no time. Y'all, welcome to FoodTokTV, home of TikTok's longest running live cooking show. We go live on the daily. I am typically on FoodTokTV on Saturdays at 4 p.m. I'm covering for Melissa and Mark for The Spice is Right. Someone needs a food processor for Christmas. You know what? I do. I actually have a food processor that I was considering using. Oftentimes I don't like using it on live just because it's so loud and abrasive and it just changes the mood. It just changes the mood whenever I throw a processor. But the processor I have, I got it as a wedding present, and I'm kind of at that stage where all my wedding presents are going bad. Not that electronics expire, you know, but, you know, just some of the, like, plastic pieces and stuff are going off. I would say, like, I wish I could have like a, it's our 8th anniversary, everything's dying registry. Use the Ninja Chopper to do that? Oh, I bet that would be super easy with this. I guess anybody that's shopping for me for Christmas that's watching knows that I need a processor now. So I think that's going to be good. I'm going to call it here. Oh, and of course the ones on the top are going to be the ones that are biggest pieces. The more I work on it, though, the more I realize y'all are probably right that it would take me a shorter amount of time to just blitz this up real quick. Oh, that was my light. There we go. We're good. But I think by the time I plug this up and put it away, and I'm including wash time on this, it'll probably be faster than what I am doing. Oh, yeah. Not a processor, but I feel like this is quick. Just pulling this out felt quicker to me than the food processor. So loud noise real quick. La la la. Hold on. That's what it is. Oh yeah, guys. That was the move. That was the move for sure. Lost a lot of people because I'm sure that number jump and then plus me leaving. But I think though with this powder, oh yeah, I think I do want some texture to it though. I don't want it to be just, you know, like pretzel powder. So I think this is perfect for, there we go, yeah. Yeah, I know, right? It's like, man, you know what? Pretzels were just stronger than me today. Oh yeah. There we go. Some of these pretzels are too big of pieces, and you know what? If they, I don't think they're gonna stick on the chicken, so I'm not too worried about it. I got plenty of pretzels. Y'all, welcome in. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I'm making this pretzel crusted chicken. This is a MelissaMurd recipe for her usual show, The Spice Is Right. And you know, I remember on her show when she did this for a live audience, she had her pretzels already pre-crushed, and now I see why that was her move. I see why that was her move. She's smart. Okay. Wiping off my area. Got our pretzels. We got our egg. We got our flour over here. And we have our chicken that we have already butterflied here. And then we have our all-purpose seasoning that we're just going to season the chicken over the top on both sides. I did not pat the chicken dry, but I will pat it dry with said seasonings on it now. In order for a good breading, we're going to want it pat dry. Because even though we have the flour for our first part of the pretzel crusted dredge, even though we have the flour there as, you know, a desiccant, meaning that it's there to dry out the substance. Just because that's there, we don't want to depend on it. Okay, I don't know why. I've heard this song over and over again. I am so sorry, y'all. I don't typically stop because of music, but there we go. It was just like that was the third time on that song, and at a certain point it's like, oh my gosh, like I appreciate you and everything that you do, but we're done here. So Melissa had called out last night, so I am covering for her today, which if you know Melissa, you know she is here no matter what on Mondays at 6. So when she told me she needed out, I just believed her. Oh yeah. Okay. So I'm going to try to do a dry hand, wet hand with my dredge. And halfway through this, I always forget and end up battering my fingers. So we have our flour mixture, we have our egg mixture, and then we have our pretzel crumbs. And what we also need is we're gonna need a rack, because another tip to this recipe is after we dredge everything, we're gonna want everything to sit together for about 10 minutes to make sure that breading sticks. So we're not gonna wanna dredge and then immediately go, we're gonna wanna let it stick. So my right is my dry hand. Let's see if I can remember. So this is not MelissaMurd tonight. It is me tonight. Melissa and Mark are out, so I am borrowing their time slot. It is okay. They will be back next week. But thank y'all so much for joining me today. So now, after the flour's on there, I'm gonna use the glue. My dry hand's over here. We'll see if I keep remembering it. Yeah. So I got the pretzel crusted chicken that I'm doing, and then I also have their tomato garlic rice that they've made before too. And then hopefully, if I have time, I will be doing a cranberry bark. Quick little holiday dish. And you know, if your breading doesn't stick, or you feel like it's not thick enough, you can always dip it back into the egg and back into the pretzel mix, but I felt like this did a really good job adhering. Like, come on, y'all, like, that's so cool. That's gonna be neat. That's gonna be neat. I like the way I did the texture on that. Okay. So, I'm doing so far so good with the, you know, wet hand, dry hand. I had to think about that as soon as I said it. So, into the flour. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to FoodTokTV. We are dredging this chicken for the pretzel crusted chicken. And then we will pan fry that. Also make some bark, a nice little dessert. I'm thinking cranberry, white chocolate, and regular chocolate bark for this. So I'm just pretzing, and this is just pulverized pretzel crumbs. And so some of them, like, I pulverized with the processor, but then I left other bigger chunks, and I'm glad I left the other bigger chunks. And then we are letting it sit on this rack over here to let it sit and rest. We're gonna want this to sit for like 10 to 15 minutes before we cook. So have another activity planned for after, which I guess that now I gotta do the bark. Gotta have the other activity planned. So, into the flour, our desiccant, aka the substance that is meant to dry out this substance. And then we are into the eggs, which, by the way, whenever I do eggs in my dredge, I also added mustard there because free flavor. You can also do hot sauce, whatever other condiment you want as well, but mustard's also a good emulsifier. Oh yeah. And then I did season the chicken really well with our all-purpose seasoning. I think Melissa's chicken pieces were smaller when she did hers, but I am okay with this. And it was really important that we butterflied the chicken so that way, you know, the chicken will be cooked and the crust won't be burnt. Because if I didn't butterfly it, if it was a thick piece, thick boy, then it would take so long to cook the chicken that that pretzel crust would be worthless. All right. Do that with pork panko. And of course I added mustard. Of course I did. And of course there was mustard powder in with the seasonings in here, because of course I did. And as I was saying earlier, just because I'm a mustard queen and I use mustard a lot doesn't mean I just add mustard just for the sake of adding mustard to things. I mean, sometimes I do, but like I'm not going to tell you guys, hey, you should add mustard to this just for the sake of, hey, you guys should add mustard to this. Oh yeah, I am loving the texture on this parm here. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Be sure you are following FoodTokTV. We do live cooking shows on the daily. Our next show is going to be Cooking with Kunchi. He has 200,000 followers on this app, and he does, he's a Jamaican barbecue enthusiast. He is on 4 p.m. tomorrow, Central. And then we have Kaz for Party of 2 tomorrow. Pretzel chicken, yes. So yeah, I'm not going to reuse this because I just put raw chicken all up in this. So, maybe I overdid it with the pretzels. Okay. But yeah, all this stuff, no bueno, unless I have more chicken I want to do. Which I do have more, not right now. Okay. I'm washing my hands right now. Thank y'all so much for staying in here. And please tap the screens, share out the live. Let me know, since we do have Thanksgiving coming up, y'all let me know, is there a Thanksgiving dish that you absolutely hate? Not looking forward to? Don't understand why it's in existence? Don't understand why we have to do this every year? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for sharing me out. Thank y'all for tapping. I see you participating. I appreciate it. I wish I could give every single one of you a participation trophy. I wish I could. Alright, since we just had the rawness over here, let's clean up. Sweet potatoes and turkey, do not care for. Hey, Country, did you hear me just say your name? I was just talking about you being the next show. Don't know why they made the canned cranberry relish. Kaz will be on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Sweet potatoes. Getting a lot of sweet potatoes. And the green beans. Now, I love green beans, but I'm not a fan of the classic casserole. Y'all, I have pretty much heard this about every single Thanksgiving food. Like, everyone has beef with one of the dishes. So, just to recap, here is the pretzel crusted chicken that we were dealing with here. Part of this is after the dredge, we are letting this sit, letting it cook, have its moment to connect. The chicken connect with that, so that way the batter sticks on. And so, while that is going, one thing that this recipe does say, because we're going to be kind of doing a shallow fry on it, so I'm going to be just putting a little bit. The recipe calls for butter and oil in here, but, you know, her recipe, the way she does it, and I know the way she does it, is with bacon. So, you can go ahead. Here, let me sanitize this after raw meat, and cool, let me pull out more raw meat. Hey, that's the story of working in a kitchen, am I right? Am I right? Oh, don't like pumpkin pie? That's another common one. This bacon requires scissors, which is crazy. Do they not account for bacon emergencies? Okay, this is a frustrating one to cut because it's one of those where it's in... Okay. It was just really close. I'm about to just cut open this package. There we go. There we go. I want to keep it reusable. There you go. Now, because I am cooking up this bacon, and the entire purpose of me cooking up the bacon, not the entire purpose, but pretty much my most purpose of cooking up this bacon is for the grease. Now, I'm going to be making wraps out of this pretzel crusted chicken, so I am going to just put some bacon strips on there. It's going to be fine, you know, whatever. But I'm going to be using the bacon grease, so that way I can use that as part of my frying liquid in here for the pretzel crusted chicken. If you have reserved bacon grease, you can use that. If you just want to use oil or butter, you know, oil and butter. You can do that. Now, because I'm doing this for the sole purpose of getting my grease, I'm starting from a cold pan. The longer and slower it takes for me to get my grease from here, the more grease I'm gonna get. Because if I cook it like at a very, very high heat and it just like crisps up the outside super quick, it's not gonna have time for the bacon to render. So, more hand washing because more raw meat, because more bacon. And y'all, bacon is also kind of one of those things I typically do in the oven as well, and I won't even put a timer on it. It's one of those things I let my nose be the timer by putting the bacon on, just on a baking sheet and putting it in the oven at 350. But, you know, this is better for live TV. Hey, Marianne, how are you doing? Thank you, Crunchy. And Cooking with Crunchy's in the comments section. He is the next show on FoodTokTV tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central. Putting the bacon back. So we're going to get our bacon all nice and crisped up. We're also going to let our crusted chicken rest. We also have our tomato garlic rice on hold. So let's get started on some little barky situation. So pretzel crusted chicken, tomato garlic rice. Both of those recipes are Melissa and Mark's recipes that I'm using since I'm also taking up their time slot here. So those recipes are already up on FoodTokTV. This next one is one that I'm just kind of came up with. Because, you know, I like doing desserts on live shows. But a lot of them for desserts, a lot of desserts kind of require setting time. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. Oh, Jessica, are you talking about the Chiefs not doing well? Okay. Okay. I'm just grabbing a couple of things real quick for my bark time. So, when it comes to, I am not a microwave user, y'all. I am not a microwave user. But I can't get rid of my microwave because there's just a couple of tasks that I still really need the microwave for, and melting chocolate is one of them. Melting chocolate chips is absolutely one of them. So, do y'all have any tasks that are just for the microwave? Because I feel like the air fryer has really has its moment right now. So most people have retired their microwave for the air fryer. None of my packages want to open today. Hey, everybody in the comment section talking about their NFL teams, and you know, I'm not gonna feel sorry for y'all because I'm a Titans fan, okay? Like, even when the Titans win a game, the NFL announcers, the way they talk about it is how the other team lost, not how we won. So, my microwave is stored up there because I barely use it. This is how little I care for my microwave. This is the convenient thing. Second intervals. So I'm just melting the chocolate right now. I didn't put any butter or anything. So basically with this bark, what I'm doing is I'm melting the chocolate, and I'm going to be doing dark and I'm going to be doing white chocolate. But basically what I am doing with this, well, let me get this since this is a a 30-second interval situation. 30-second interval situation there. And so basically what it is I'm melting the chocolate and I'm going to be pouring it out, and then I'm going to be throwing a bunch of stuff on it. And so that way, you know, as it cools, I'm going to stick it in the freezer, let it firm up, and then you can just break it off into bark. And so that's basically that. So you can be as creative as you want with it. You can do like M&Ms and candies, and I thought this would be a fun thing to do with the pretzels. Never seen a microwave on top of a fridge before. I know, right? Like, and I have so many people tell me all the time how unsafe. It's safe for me because of the way I use it, but so many people are worried because of how it's up top and you don't want to bring it down, which stepladder makes it safe. But this is what's convenient for me because of how little I use my microwave. But melting chocolate is just one of those things where the microwave just reigns supreme. Another thing I use my microwave for all the time is microwaving my corn cobs, like when they still have the husk on there, just for like 20-30 seconds to so that way when I chop it open, the silk comes off. And then I also will microwave my citrus sometimes to I'll microwave my citrus sometimes so that way I can get more juice out of it. But yeah, otherwise I don't really use my microwave. Those are the three things. I don't think I've used a microwave for another reason this year. No. But yes, I had actually gotten that microwave at a garage sale maybe about a decade ago, but it's also one of those microwaves that's also a broiler and an oven, and before air fryers were even a thing, it does a lot of convection things that probably just weren't advertised as air fryer. I just haven't messed around with it because I do have an actual air fryer. Oh yeah, so here's the bacon over here, y'all. Going nice and low and slow with it since we're trying to get as much of the grease as possible with that, since that's going to be part of our cooking oil for the pretzel crusted chicken. Ooh, so where do y'all reheat your leftovers? Let me know. Now, I think as far as fried foods, the air fryer is the way to go. And the air fryer has been where I do a lot of my leftovers. Honestly, there are a lot of times though where I just justify eating my leftovers cold. Like, oh yeah. "30-second intervals till we can make some bark out of it." Thank y'all for hanging out with me while we talk about microwaves in this process. Because the other things we have to do, because we're still waiting on the chicken to form the crust with the pretzel crusted chicken. Yeah, so we still have to wait on the crust to form on that. Waiting on the bacon to cook. We also got rice in the rice cooker, so. Look at me, and I only have 14 more minutes left of the show, dude. So weird how doing a show in the weekday makes it easier to have the 1 hour show. I'm the type of person where if you've been here for more than a few minutes, you know I could talk to a brick wall, so it's easy for me to have a 2 or more show. Oh, it is hot, hot, hot. Hey Cat Dog Gang, what's up? Oh yeah, almost. I think this is about it. I really want to make sure that it's spreadable and everything is super melted here. I don't want it to overcook, so that's why the 30-second intervals is imperative here. So I think that's about it. I don't have the parchment paper. This is a recipe I definitely would do with parchment paper, but we're gonna do foil instead. Use what you have, right? I wouldn't do this just naked because. So before I pour, what was my idea I had? Sorry, I'm thinking in my brain and not out loud, and that doesn't happen very often for me. I'm typically an out loud thinker. So I also have some white chocolate that I want to mess with. Okay. So let's get this started. This white chocolate started. Okay. I think I was gonna initially do layers, but you'll see what I'm up to now. Y'all, welcome into FoodTokTV. Thank you so much for hanging out with me up to this point. Right now we're melting the chocolate for our bark. It's about to get cool, I promise. It's going to be more than me just stepping up and down the stairs, or up and down the ladder to my microwave palace. And then, so while we're doing that for our bark, we also got some bacon cooking, because that's going to be for our pretzel crusted chicken that we have already pretzeled and crusted. That we are really just doing the bacon just so we can get some of that grease for our frying liquid. I love cooking bacon. I love it. How smelling like bacon. So I never set a timer when I'm just cooking bacon, because why? I'll smell it. I'll smell it when I need to click on it. Although, that did kind of, that was a problem for me one year. In 2020, I was feeling a little under the weather, and that under the weather got me to not be able to smell or taste. So I cooked bacon and never smelled it in time to get it up. Oh, your oven has an air fryer setting, but I haven't used it. You know, I've heard that a lot too, and it's almost kind of like, how does this work? Because with air fryers, it's like the heating element is over the top, but then it also fans, so it's weird. It's weird. So, I like how the little summary says microwave chocolate bark, and it's like, ooh, maybe I should have just used the double boiler just for the, you know, aesthetic of it. Like, ooh, maybe I should have. I mean, microwave cooking isn't sexy, but you know what? It's a necessity. This makes me wonder, though, if there are people, or if there is a way to just like melt the chocolate chips in your air fryer, since the air fryer is essentially taking over the microwave's job. And you know, if I was just melting this on my stovetop, I would have like a little pot of boiling water with a glass bowl over the top and just stir my chocolate chips over that. Come on. Almost melty for the bark time. I was doing something. It was on my Halloween show. It was my Halloween pop-up show. And it was one of those where I was doing melted chocolate, but it was one of those like piping bag things. And the recipe I was referring to said to, with the piping bag, just melt the chocolate chips in the piping bag. And I was like, ooh, that's my favorite thing ever. Just melt them directly in the piping bag. This isn't a piping bag situation, but just so you know, if you're using something with the melted chocolate with a piping bag, you can just melt directly in it. Air fryer on 250 for 3 to 5 minutes. For the chocolate chips, I'll have to try that one of these days. You know, maybe next time y'all see me on the show, instead of the microwave up there, it'll just be an air fryer. 5. Oh yeah, that's it. That's it. Just needs to be stirred some. And, you know, even though like with this, like I see a couple of pieces that like may not be considered melted, but you know, as you stir, it's going to combine. Or it's going to melt, so it'll be fine. You definitely don't want to overdo it. So here's our chocolate from a little earlier. I'm going to melt it for just 20 more seconds, and then we'll make sure we have all of our things ready for bark. So for our bark, the kind of thing that made me want to get on pretzel dessert, not only because I'm making the pretzel crusted chicken, but I'm also thinking about this pretzel crusted, or I'm sorry, the strawberry pretzel jello salad. I absolutely love that, and that's something I've been craving for a minute. That's something I have been craving for a minute, but jello takes a while to firm. So anyway, with that, I was wondering, does anybody ever make this kind of bark with some sort of strawberry? Is there a way to get strawberry incorporated in here? And the way people will do that is with the freeze-dried strawberries. And so some people were even like mixing freeze-dried strawberries in with the white chocolate to make that like the pink, or just using the freeze-dried strawberries. Oh, there we go. Over the top. So, what do y'all think? Should I put some freeze-dried strawberry powder in with my white chocolate here? Should I add some of the freeze-dried strawberry to see if we can make it pink? Because I do have some freeze-dried strawberry powder. Or am I going to keep it a little bit more holiday-y and make this more of a craisin cranberry situation? I have not made the cranberry candy. No. That feels right up my alley too. Why haven't I made that? But what do y'all think? Should I try the strawberry powder one? This is my favorite part. So, still deciding if I'm mixing the strawberry powder in with the white chocolate or if I'm keeping this white over this and doing a cranberry. But I also have pretzels I'm going to put in here. There's also nuts in here. You can kind of decorate this with whatever you have. Leftover Halloween candy? Boom. Both? You think I should do both? Trying to get it because after this hardens, we're going to break it up into pieces. So we're trying to spread it. I would like to do parchment paper, but it's what we have. Half cran, the other strawberry? Both? Alright, so one more final swoop, because however I leave it is how it's gonna dry. Song always trips me up because I don't know which one's starting. Oh yeah. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get half of it. So some of my white chocolate that I have melted here. And then these are the freeze-dried strawberries. I have some of the strawberry powder in there. Oh no, I don't have any powder in here. Just the freeze-dried strawberries. Woo. They're almost like strawberry jerky. I still have my pretzel grinder out. I'm just gonna throw some of these in there real quick. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. I also make good food too. And my personality is terrible. That's my joke I like. You know, I'm going to scratch the strawberry idea as I process them, just because like they're so good. But they are freeze-dried strawberries, and it's one of those things, the longer they've sat out, or not sat out, but the longer they've been in my pantry, it's not very pink. And I just don't trust that will be good. I don't think it'll look good. So we're going to skip that. We're going to skip that. But it's okay, because I got another idea. Where we're just going to dollop. Oh, thanks. Thank you. So I'm just... We'll go with my other thought. Most of the time when I'm just sitting here creating stuff, my best work is as I go. It looks like a hot mess right now. You gotta wait for it. You gotta wait for it. It looks like a hot mess, but it's one of those you gotta trust the process situations, okay? Trust the process with my situation. I'm trusting it. Okay. Okay, did we trust the process enough? Because this isn't going to work if we didn't trust the process. If you guys didn't trust the process and I do this and it looks weird, it's because you didn't trust it. No, I'm kidding. If it doesn't work, it's because I'm the one that did it. User error. Ooh. Alright, so what I think is going to happen is if I swirl it enough, we're going to have to go up and down a few times. There we go. I guess next time I'll have to try it with the strawberry that I make. You guys trusted me. You guys trusted me. I think it looks cool. Now, I think I probably could have clumped a little less of the white chocolate, but I think that's beautiful. Perfect. Thank you. So, because it's pretzel night. Aw, thanks. We're gonna try and strategically deal out some pretzels. Oh, this is, I'm just doing bark. So basically this is just melted chocolate. And I had done like the dark chocolate first, and then I did plops of the white chocolate, and I just kind of ran a chopstick up and down through it, just kind of swirling over there. And now we are just gonna like place a bunch of things in here. And to be festive, I'm adding some cranberries. I really want to try this with the strawberry next time. But, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you can leave the cranberries out. You can do dried cherries. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to put fruit in here. You can just do pretzels. You can just melt chocolate, put it on a thing, and, you know, make out your bark. You just do M&M based ones. Whatever candy you got. Whatever things you got. Granola. Pumpkin seeds. That's a good one. What was my... Oh, I'm also going to do pecans. Come on, pecans. Maybe these I'm going to break up a little bit. I love pretzels and desserts. I love pretzels as like some sort of crust, some sort of meal. I love when pretzels are breads they shouldn't be, like pretzel crusted pot pie, or, oh, there was one time back in the day, I can't remember who it was, but someone used to make a pretzel beer. Holy crap, I would start drinking again. No, I'm kidding, I would not. But, oh man, good stuff. I also have, one time I got like a pretzel extract in somewhere. Ah. There we go. And then to finish up, because with every dessert just needs some flaky salt on there. I really like salt on my desserts. I am okay tasting the salt on here, so leave it off if you want. But I love salty desserts. There we go. I am actually going to stick this in our freezer outside. So I am, or not outside, but it's out in my garage. There's not really a place for me to like lay this. So I'm going to go out in my garage, put this on the freezer, and then I will be right back for us to finish up with the cooking up the pretzel crusted chicken. Easy peasy. Oh, I was going out there and I didn't take the bark with me. Why did you let me do that? No mods in here? I guess not. Okay, there we go. Give me just a second. Okay, cool. I'm gonna put this in the freezer. Yes, tap the screens and let people know I'm making pretzel chicken for when I come back. Hopefully that chills time. I'm back. Thank y'all so much for holding the fort down for me. Woo. Welcome to FoodTokTV. Yes, I will be making the pretzel chicken when I come back. Thank you for holding the fort down, y'all. We just put the bark in there and we are going to be switching courses back to the pretzel crusted chicken that has been dredged and battered with crushed up pretzels. We're on a pretzel kick today, y'all. And so I need to move my bacon. I have just made some bacon on a paper towel plate. Not the right. This bacon kind of got crusty at the bottom, but it's okay. It's okay. I was just here for the grease. And like the bacon's not overcooked. So we're gonna let this bacon grease heat up. So that way we can prepare for the chicken right here. And so this is kind of gonna be more of a shallow fry here. Yes, you can bake it. We're not doing that. Yes, you can air fry it. We've been talking a lot about air fryers for people who are not using air fryers. Yes. Welcome to FoodTokTV. We do live cooking shows on the daily. This is Cutting the Mustard, my pop-up show that I do whenever I'm filling in for someone. I'm typically on FoodTokTV with my husband, Ryan, on Saturdays at 4 p.m., the tailgate. So, whenever you see me pop up, I'm filling in / wanting to do it for a good time. Queen G is in the house, another FoodTokTV creator. Welcome in. So, of course, like with her pretzel crusted chicken, I am heating up my skillet with the bacon grease that I just did. But with Melissa and Mark's pretzel crusted chicken, what they did was they made a honey mustard, which of course I'm mustard queen, so I gotta make a honey mustard too. She made a honey mustard, so I gotta make a honey mustard. Which, of course, like for a basic honey mustard at home, it's pretty much honey and mustard. And then, of course, mayo is going to be our base for a creamier style honey mustard. You don't have to add mayo to it. Oftentimes, the honey mustards where there's like specks in them, typically that's just going to be Dijon and honey. And so all a honey mustard needs for it to be a honey mustard is just honey and mustard. And so speaking of mustard, I got some yellow mustard right here. Time to shine, yellow mustard. Time to shine. Thank you for the follow. If you're following me, you're also following a bunch of other food creators, and we go live on the daily. Monday through Friday, we have multiple shows. Saturday is me. And then Sunday is TikTok's longest running live cooking show. Sunday Night Live. So I got about 2 parts of mayo to 1 part of mustard, and then I'm going to add 1 part of honey to that. If I knew where I put my honey. Oh dear. I'm one of those people where I keep buying honey even though I already have honey. Crazy how I'm missing 4. Ah. It's next to the spot. So another thing in honey mustard that people will often add to is going to be some sort of acid, whether it's lemon or lime juice, maybe like even a splash of apple cider vinegar is going to be really good.
Oftentimes though, I will add like a splash of jalapeno juice from the jalapeno brine, or if you're a fan of pickles, a splash of the pickle brine. I'm going to be using some of this chili garlic sauce, you know, the red sauce with the green lid. And you know, this chili garlic sauce, it's also what restaurants use to make spicy ranch. Like, it's just that with their homemade ranch, and boom, that's the hack. Like, pretty much every restaurant, I have worked in restaurants for like 15, like close to 2 decades, right? Pretty much every restaurant has this. Not every restaurant, they're, you know what I mean. And so at this point, we can season, salt and pepper, and then taste and adjust for the balance. So the acidity is always nice, like that lemon or lime juice, or the vinegar is gonna be nice to thin it out too. I had a little piece of chocolate there still, so I was like, it's a weird honey mustard. Oh, that's really good though. I think for me, since I love the spicy, and y'all, spicy honey mustard's where it is at. You know, another honey mustard flavor that I absolutely love that you wouldn't think of is a raspberry honey mustard. Raspberry honey mustard is one of my favorite mustard flavors. Oh yeah. It's just me and my husband eating this, so it's fine that I'm double dipping. So, the bacon grease is a poppin'. That way we can cook our chicken. Adding some avocado oil. And our chicken is cut fairly thin, so it's not going to take long for it to cook. It just needs to really brown on both sides. Oh, lardy lard, har har har. It's so funny. All right, here we go. If y'all are just scrolling in, thank you for joining me. I have been waiting for this final part because we do have some honey mustard that's going to go with our pretzel crusted chicken. Got some bacon grease and some avocado oil heating up. I did just add the avocado oil, so I want to make sure the avocado oil is nice and hot. You can stick a chopstick in there, or anything wooden. You can stick a wooden spoon or something in there, so that way if you see it bubbling up, that's when you know it will be ready. I'm going to use some tongs, and when we are using tongs to place something into here, we are going to place it away from us. So, like, away from us. So that way if it splatters away. And you know, I really wish I could have maneuvered this so I could have added another one, but it was stuck there, sticking it there, gonna let it go. So there we go. Let's see if we can get y'all a close up. Thank you so much. There we go. So y'all can see what is going on. Honey mustard looks weak. Dude, I swear, like, I mean, it's basically just mayo and mustard and honey. Like, how exciting can it be, right? But the chili garlic sauce is the way to go. I'll often add, like, hot sauce to it, too. That raspberry honey mustard, though, I'm not even kidding. It's the founder and curator of the National Mustard Museum. That's his favorite mustard, is raspberry honey mustard. So, it's something I'll make for, like, a pretzel dip. A raspberry honey mustard is. So, anyway, if you ever see a raspberry honey mustard of some sort on a charcuterie board, try it. Don't be freaked out by it. I understand the hesitation you would have by being like, ooh, raspberry honey mustard? But no, trust, it is good. Trust. Now, welcome into FoodTokTV. The recipe for this pretzel crusted chicken is already up on foodtoktv.com. And then we also have the recipe for the tomato garlic rice. which I don't know if y'all heard a little timer go off there a second ago, but the the tomato garlic rice is done from the rice cooker, but I like to let my rice sit for 5 minutes before I mess with it from the rice cooker. So, and even when you cook rice on the stove top, you want to just ignore it, let it fluff up, let it do its thing. Oh yeah, it's all nice and brown at the bottom from when we cooked up the bacon in there. So my show is at 4 p.m. Central on Saturdays. So my husband and I are kind of known for running a little late. So if you don't think of us until 4:05 or 4:10, we'll probably just be starting. Oh, let's see how this bottom one. Ah, that's so nice and crusty. There you go. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is why once you place it down, you just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Oh, yes. So then we have the tomato garlic rice to look forward to. The bark is chilling. So basically, in order for me to have dinner, it's pretty much what I got going on. Perfection, yes. Thank you for the popular. Hello, friend. What up? Thank you for joining me on The Mustard is Right. I mean, cutting the mustard. I'm not typically on Mondays for the 6 p.m. show. That's typically Melissa and Mark, and their show is The Spice is Right. So when I say The Mustard is Right. Love the sounds. Thank you. When Melissa said you'd be filling in, I planned on a 2-hour live. Aw. I know, I'm already running behind, but, you know. And these are, and you know, in the live show where she made this pretzel crusted chicken, she also made the sourdough flatbread from scratch. So just the fact that I've just done the pretzel chicken, but I also did the bark and the rice. But, you know, Melissa's definitely more of an organized machine than I am for sure. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a lot of fun with this pop-up show. Be sure you're following FoodTokTV so you can always see the live cooking that we're doing. Oh yeah. And I trust that this chicken is done, but you can always temp it. Let's temp it, even though I just said I trust it. But I'm going to temp it. You know what? It's actually at 163. It's actually at 163, which I would want it to be 165. And you know, I do know that it's just going to carry over cook and it'll be fine. But why not? Just for a little extra security. Just for a little bit of security, I'm okay with it. Okay, that was too much. I regretted that decision immediately. It's okay. Oh, yeah. And you know, as much as I want to put another piece of chicken over here next to it, because it does seem like I have space for it, it's just not going to crisp up because it's going to steam. It's going to be so close to each other, and that moisture of them steaming off into each other, it's not going to get a good crust. So it is good to do this individually, one by one by one. So while those are finishing up, so we'll kind of come back to that. Woo. Let's get the rice. The recipe for this rice is also on FoodTokTV, and all this was I did regular long grain rice. MelissaMurd in her recipe does basmati rice with it, but it's just rice and you can use broth or water, and then a clove of garlic. I just grated mine in there, and then half of a Roma tomato that's just upside down there. And then so you just like pick out the tomato skin. There you go. Just pick out the tomato skin there and just kind of like fluff it with everything. I have a rice paddle. If you don't have a rice paddle, then a fork will do you just fine. And you know, just that one tomato cooking in with there, you get the juices from there. Oh. I love it. Love her tomato rice. It just adds so much just by putting half of that Roma tomato in there. Exactly what it is. Tomato garlic rice. That is exactly what it is. Love it when the recipe description is kind of on point. So this one's just regular white rice. I think it might actually be my jasmine rice. It's my big bulk rice that I have in my pantry where I just have my rice. I think it's white. It might actually be jasmine. But yes. Rice cooker is one of those things where I never thought I would be a rice cooker person because, come on, we can cook rice on the stove. But I love it because perfectly brown. But I love the rice cooker because it does the keep warm function super well. And so that way I can just have rice and have it just hot and holding and there. And it just does it perfectly every time. I'm just a big fan of my rice cooker. And I'm currently in the process of, deciding what things I actually do need in my house. I'm downsizing some things, and the rice cooker is one of those that it's not an everyday thing for me, but I can't get rid of it. I'm gonna heat up. So that is heating up. I have my other half of my tomato earlier, and I'm going to chop this up real quick, and that's going to go in with our quick wrap. I don't typically use a paring knife for this, but this is like what I see MelissaMurd use. Like not that exact one, but there we go. Got some tomato, and then I have some arugula. Not quite brown on there. Then I have some arugula for some wraps, which I've already washed my arugula, but as you can see, I have so many paper towels all through there because moisture is going to be the thing that makes your arugula go bad in your fridge, especially after you wash it. Let's get a temp on that. Make sure when you're temping your meat, you're temping it right away, because if you let it sit and rest for a few minutes, it's not going to be an accurate thing. Because if it's had like 10 minutes to, rest, of course it's going to be cool. That's something I would have to teach people. That was like just 5 degrees off. I'm always just so close on it. So if you're doing this recipe, it might be a good one to temp. A paring knife is a great tool. Use it to devein my shrimp and dice my tomatoes. I don't typically use a paring knife for my tomatoes, but I did this time, and I think I will in the future. And then, oh yeah, pan is smoking. Yeah, it is. I did lower the heat too on that, but I think it was the pretzel pieces. are getting extra hot because this is the pretzel chicken. Oh yeah. I do have some solids on here that are toasty. That commenter is not wrong. That commenter is not wrong. Absolutely. Hey guys, this pan is hot. The commenter is not wrong. I'm hoping my fire alarm doesn't go off. That's always fun to do in a live show. It's like, that's okay. I'm gonna let that cool. I'm still gonna use this pan, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried, guys. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. So while this other stuff is cooking, let's see how my bark is doing. I'm going out here real quick. I'll be right back. So everything else, we're gonna let this cook. Let's plate everything else up, including the pork, but we are gonna make a quick wrap with the, oh my goodness, I got, almost started making my wrap with chocolate covered hands. So she had made her own sourdough flatbread when she had made this recipe. I did not do that. So that is a recipe on FoodTokTV.com as well. So I just got these green spinach veggie wraps because they looked good. And I'm using some of this honey mustard that I made that I also used the chili garlic sauce on. And then here is some of the pretzel crusted chicken right here. Let that rest some. Don't want to cut it immediately. So yummy. Pretzel crusted chicken. I'm excited about that. I love the crispy crustiness of it. I was almost thinking too, with all that salt in the pretzel crust, I was worried because I did add some salt to my seasoning, but it is not over salty at all. Love it. Yeah, I'm doing a MelissaMurd's pretzel crusted chicken recipe. Yeah. Excuse me. So we are going to dress that with some of our arugula. Which whenever I am doing tomatoes on anything, I don't like my tomatoes just like unsalted, so salting the tomatoes. A little bit more spicy honey mustard. Now I'm not a master roller here, but I could watch people who, you know, where you look at it and you think there's no way that they're going to be able to wrap it all. I love watching those people, but I'm not that person. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Do you have faith in me? So, think. Okay, so going to push it down. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to go from muscle memory here, how people wrap these things. So pushing. Okay. We're gonna do this together, y'all. Okay, there we go. I think in my brain how it was gonna go, I had it reversed. There we go. I did it, y'all. I did it. I was really scared for me too. It's okay. Oh yeah. There's one of the wraps. I'm pretty proud of myself for that wrap job, guys. It's one of those things where, oh crap, I'm on live. That's when I'm going to make the biggest mess and make it look super terrible. And you know, halfway through, I knew you guys didn't believe in me, but once I did it, I did it. And then some of that. Plenty of arugula. The pretzel chicken over the top. Followed by tomatoes. I have another tomato here. I can get more tomato. It's fine. Okay, I think that one might have gotten a little rip because I got very aggressive with it, but it's okay. This one will be my snack one. This one will be mine. I'm gonna let... Hey Ryan, do you want to come try this wrap? I'll let Ryan have the good looking one for his. I'll let him have it. Thank you so much for the follow, because if you're following FoodTokTV, you're not just following me, you are following a bunch of content creators who go live on the daily. Hold on. Finishing up on chicken. Okay, this is the pretty one. Ah! So much for that. So much for that pretty one. There's some more spicy honey mustard sauce.
Thank you.
Here, and then I guess you can have a plate. You can have the other half too. That's the pretzel crusted chicken.
Thank you.
And then, how is it?
Wonderful.
How's the pretzel chicken?
Wonderful.
Okay, I'm gonna eat this one. I'm really glad he was so descriptive with that. I was really worried that you guys would have no idea what it tasted like.
Sorry, I was too busy eating.
He said he was too busy eating, so maybe that's the proper compliment, the way that he didn't have anything to say about it. But yes, these wraps with the pretzel crusted chicken. Everyone's saying hey to you. Babs is saying hey. Fran is saying hey.
Hey, Fran. Hey, Babs.
Yes, and then that's the other of the pretzel crusted. Ah! So, and then with the rice. Where's my rice towel? Ooh. We have our tomato garlic rice right here, another MelissaMurd recipe. And then let's break up this bark that we have here where we just melted the white and the dark chocolate. And this was just in the fridge for just a few minutes, so not too terrible with pretzels, nuts, and cranberries. And so part of the bark part
we get to break it. Or we could just give it as one big piece, but I would prefer to just not. Hold on, I'm gonna take a bite out of it. Like, this is just my piece. I love the cranberry in there. Love it. Oh. This is fun. I love it. It could have stood in the freezer a little bit longer because while it is cold and firm, as soon as I touch it, it starts to get melty. So, these bark pieces. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands and then say bye.
I will say today for lunch, I had a chicken wrap from a fast food restaurant, and I was thinking, man, how lackluster this is.
Like how terrible of an idea it is to have a wrap. Like you came home and it's like, I'm making wraps.
Yeah, and then you told me you were making, the chicken wraps and everything, but I didn't really realize it till, till I got home, or till, you asked me how to wrap. But no, this is everything that wasn't. So, yeah.
You heard it here first. Even though it's a repeat lunch meal, it's still fantastic. And that actually says a lot. So y'all, thank you so much for joining us today on The Mustard is Right. No, it's Cutting the Mustard. That is my pop-up show. Thank you. Thank you, Cole. I appreciate it. I just got done with the chocolate around my mouth. I know I need someone to wash my mouth for me when I'm doing the live. But today we did this fun bark, and it was very easy to put together with whatever you have in your pantry. So it's a very fun, dessert that doesn't need a lot of space because I'm against desserts that require the fridge space for Thanksgiving. And then the pretzel crusted chicken into the wrap with the spicy honey mustard and the tomato garlic rice. These two recipes are already up on FoodTokTV.com. This one I just melted chocolate and threw some things at it. So, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Tune in for Kunchi tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central. Follow FoodTokTV. I will see y'all next time. Happy mustarding, my friends.